The wonders of sustainability.
For decades, we've been told the battle against climate change is nearly lost. Glaciers are melting, oceans are rising, storms, fires, droughts. Nature is out of balance. But what if the key to healing our planet lies right beneath our feet?
This is the story of dirt, or rather soil, not lifeless, brown dust, but a living, breathing universe teeming with microbes, roots, and potential. And it turns out, soil might just save us.
The crisis beneath.
For over 70 years, our global farming system has been dominated by industrial agriculture, plowing chemical, fertilizers, monocultures. These practices degrade the soil, releasing carbon into the air and leaving the land barren. Today, over a third of the Earth's topsoil is already gone.
We're not just losing soil, we're losing the foundation of our food, our water, our climate system. It's not just a farming issue, it's a human survival issue.
Regenerative agriculture, a miracle in the making.
But there's another way. It's called regenerative agriculture. It's a set of farming practices that work with nature instead of against it. Cover cropping, composting, rotational grazing. These are ancient techniques being rediscovered for a modern crisis. When I stopped tilling and started treating the soil like a living system, everything changed. My yields went up, my cost went down, and the land came alive again.
Regenerative farming doesn't just stop harm, it reverses it. Every acre of healthy soil can pull carbon out of the atmosphere and store it underground. It's nature's own carbon capture system.
What is regenerative agriculture? Let's watch a video.
Regenerative agriculture is a set of farming practices that increase biodiversity in soil organic matter. Currently, most agricultural practices are devastating to biodiversity. Even organic agriculture, while not as bad, still does more harm than good. Regenerative agriculture is a way to reverse this trend to actually make a positive impact on the land. So what does regenerative agriculture actually involve? Answering this question is actually pretty tricky, because the practices that work best largely depend on the land that's being worked with. So the variety of different practices border on infinity, a bit more than this video can cover. However, let's look at 3 common forms that regenerative agriculture can take. The soil is full of organisms which are helpful for plants. Some convert soil nitrogen into a plant-usable form. Some bring water to the plants that would otherwise be out of reach. Others loosen and aerate the soil, increasing water absorption and allowing plant roots to penetrate deeper. When soil is turned over by a machine, most of these organisms are killed, so the crops must rely on chemical fertilizer, which ends up leaching into the water. Central to no-till farming is to not do that. Instead of tilling, plant cover crops whose roots break up the soil. Let the worms aerate the soil and bring down nutrients. Keep the soil covered with an organic mulch, which will break down over time, adding more organic matter to the soil. From the release of methane to clearing forests for pasture land, cattle raising is known for being very environmentally destructive. But this is not inherent to grazing animals. If the right practices are put in place, enormous amounts of carbon can be sequestered into the ground, soil can be built, and even desertification can be reversed in a matter of years. Here's how it works. The growth of grass tends to start slow, accelerate, and slow down again. This middle area is where it accrues the most biomass the most efficiently. If it's eaten before it gets to this point, its growth will never speed up. This is what happens with traditional pastured animals. They eat all the grass, which doesn't have the chance to grow back fast enough before getting eaten again, and we have overgrazing. This leads to soil erosion, drought, and desertification. But if the animals are kept in a tightly packed herd, like they used to be in nature, the grass has time to grow before being eaten. All that biomass in the grass is carbon that comes from the air. Not all of the grass gets eaten, however. Some of it gets pooped on and trampled, which ends up creating the perfect conditions for new topsoil to be built. this ends up happening incredibly quickly. This is one of the most complex and location-dependent practices there are. I will therefore be overgeneralizing a bit. It always starts with observing a local forest and the relationships between everything in it. The plants, the animals, the fungi, the landscape, the soil, the water, and then recreating these relationships in a way that's just as ecologically resilient, but produces more food. Food forests are often thought of as comprising 7 layers: the root layer, the ground cover layer, the herb layer, the shrub layer, the low tree layer, the high tree layer, and the vine layer. Every one of these layers either produces some sort of food or medicine, or is in some way helpful to the system as a whole. The plants are mostly perennials and include as many native species as possible. These 3 examples of regenerative agriculture, plus all the rest of them, all have something in common. Whereas in conventional agriculture, you seek to create as many of one thing as possible, in regenerative agriculture, you seek to create as many relationships between things as possible. You are one of those things. What sort of relationship with the land do you want to foster?
Global impact local solutions.
From smallholder farms in Africa to vineyards in California, regenerative practices are spreading. Communities are restoring regarded land, reviving local economies, and feeding people real food, all while cooling the planet. The solution is right under our feet, and it's as old as dirt, but it's going to take all of us it grow.
The wonder of soil.
Soil is not dead, it's alive, home to billions of organisms. It's where plants communicate, where carbon is stored, and where life begins. It's not just dirt, it's wonder.
By rebuilding our soil, we rebuild our future. Cleaner air, better water, stronger communities, more resilient ecosystems. It's not just sustainable, it's regenerative. It gives back more than it takes.
Closing message. We are the generation that knows the damage, but we can also be the generation that brings healing through the soil, through the food we eat, through the choices we make. Sustainability isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving.